Hey guys, an unexpected episode of Booked on Rock. It's not about rock and roll books this time, unfortunately. It's about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. And I was going to try to put something up last night, but I didn't have the time to do it. And as a fan, I do want to share what I think, but I want to find out what you guys think about it and share your stories, your Ozzy stories, when you first discovered Ozzy and memories of listening to Ozzy, going to shows, seeing him. So I'd like you to do that. If you're watching on YouTube or listening, wherever you listen, comment on it. I want to give a shout out to Gene Simmons, who I just watched today, a couple interviews that he did. And he was pretty good friends with Ozzy, and Sharon knew them over the years. And he was really cool. I mean, he really had some great things to say about Ozzy. Basically, that Ozzy, there's nobody else like him. He was the real deal. Gene said he had no ego. I mean, he just didn't think he was anything special, yet here the millions and millions of fans, worshipped him like he was, he was the man, he was the god of metal, the Prince of Darkness. And then to see him get up on stage 2.5 weeks ago, he willed himself up on that stage for the farewell show, the Back to the Beginning concert. And Tony Iommi, I just saw an interview with him, and they're talking about, the interviewer was asking Tony about Ozzy and what did he think of the performance. And he said he thought he was just great, but they didn't want to push him too hard with rehearsals. They didn't want to make him do more than he could do because of his physical condition. And he really, it's surprising to see how well he did that night. The energy that he had, it's like he wanted to jump out of the seat. In fact, Tony Iommi said he did want to get up and stand. If he could, he would have. But he did it because it's what he loved to do, but also he loved his fans. I mean, he just had a genuine love for his fans. It's amazing. And I think that was important for him to do. And I think his body just finally gave out. Again, he willed himself to get up there on that stage and say goodbye to the fans. What a way to go out. But so sad that he is gone. And I was introduced to Ozzy probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old. My older brother was listening to Sabbath with his friends. And then my other older brother, he had Ozzy's solo stuff. He had the cassettes. He had Diary of a Madman, and he had Blizzard of Oz. So I was introduced to Ozzy solo. And of course, listening to FM rock radio, Ozzy was everywhere. Black Sabbath would be played. And then once you go beyond the songs that you hear on the radio, you realize what a body of work this guy had. From Sabbath to solo, it's absolutely bar none. It's legendary. The first Sabbath album is from front to back perfect. The albums that they did with him, for the most part, right up until you get to the late 70s, when things start to fall apart. But those first 4 albums are absolutely amazing. Gene Simmons, in fact, said his favorite is the 4th album by Sabbath. And he says everybody should shut off their social media, put the phones down, turn off the TV, and listen to Sabbath, which is a great idea. I've been listening to Ozzy and Sabbath all day at work, and on my way to and from work. So I've been doing that and just in awe of the body of work. I think I first saw Ozzy probably on MTV, the Bark at the Moon video, and loved the song. And then from there, it just was everything he came out with there'd be at least 1 or 2 kick-ass songs. Like even the album that he wasn't really all that happy with, which is the one with Shot in the Dark on it. And I'm drawing the blank all of a sudden on the name of the album. Ultimate Sin. Ultimate Sin's the one from 86. Then he came back with No Rest for the Wicked, which is the one that has Crazy Babies on there, and Miracle Man. And then he came back in 91. That was his big comeback album with No More Tears. And I distinctly remember in the fall of 1991 when that album came out. It was like September of 91. And watching on MTV the video for No More Tears. And I live here in New England. In the fall, it's just awesome. If you're, I'm a huge horror fan and I love everything that's gothic. So in the fall in New England at night, it just, the air is crisp, the leaves rumbling on the ground. There's that feeling that Halloween's coming, scary movies on TV all the time. And No More Tears came out, and it was perfect timing to have that album come out. And I just remember being blown away by that song, No More Tears. And then Mom, I'm Coming Home was on the radio. So I just distinctly remember that period. And that was when Ozzy said he was going to retire, the No More Tours tour. That didn't last long. But then as you get throughout the 90s, he continued to put out these albums that there was always something that you'd get out of every album. Again, whether it was just a song or two songs or the whole album. But Osmosis, that had Perry Mason, I Just Want You, phenomenal song, but also See You on the Other Side, which was the first song I played this morning when I got in the car. See You on the Other Side, which I thought was just fitting. That was 90, that one came out in 95. Down to Earth 2001, that had Dreamer on there. The Undercover album in 05. But he continued with Black Rain in 07, and he had guitarists. He was with Zakk Wylde for a while. But then Zakk was gone, comes back with Black Rain, Scream 2010, new guitarist. Was it Gus G, I believe? Actually, Zakk is on Black Rain, so I think Scream is the one that had Gus G on it. Yeah. So he just kept going, and his legacy was already set in stone, but he just continued to work. And of course, with the Osbournes, the TV show in the early 2000s, I remember that because there was this audience of people that loved Ozzy, and they didn't really know much about its music. And as you know, if you watch this podcast or listen to it, music is everything to me. So I would remind people, like, this guy's an amazing musician. Let's not forget that. But he was so lovable. I think that was when the world just embraced him. They just loved Ozzy. You could not help but love Ozzy. And there was this wonderful chaotic existence that he had. He was just, you couldn't help but love the guy. But then when he got on stage, it was like he was in the zone. He was in complete control, complete command. There was no chaos. It was just, he had command over that audience. One of the best showmen ever. And one of the best voices. There was no better voice for Sabbath. No better. And don't forget, he wrote the lyrics. He helped write the melodies for these songs. The guy was a tremendous talent and just one of the nicest guys from all accounts. Again, Gene Simmons talking about, I think Gene Simmons said the first time Kiss and Sabbath toured in 74, and Gene already knew about Sabbath. The first album was out. He was a fan. And as Kiss is walking off stage and Ozzy and the band Sabbath are ready to go out, Gene is ready to approach Ozzy to introduce himself. And sure enough, Ozzy gets to him first. He goes, "Hi, my name's Ozzy. Nice to meet you." It was just totally down to earth. That's my story. I'll never forget Ozzy. His music will live on forever, so I will continue. Ozzy's not going anywhere in terms of his music and the videos and everything that he did. But it's a sad day. 76 years old, Ozzy Osbourne. He's gone. Love to get your guys' thoughts on this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, comment. When did you first discover Ozzy? What your favorite moments, Ozzy moments, concerts, your favorite albums, if you got a favorite song. I think Shot in the Dark may be my favorite Ozzy song, but there's so many that I really can't keep count. But let me know what you think. And rest in peace to Ozzy, and thoughts going out to Ozzy's family, because this is a rough time for them, obviously. But the millions of fans around the world, thoughts with you guys as well. Keep the music alive of Ozzy. See you guys.